you're not working or not, or haven't booked anything is what I really mean. Like how do you stay inspired? How do you stay up? How do you keep the faith?
It's hard, and I've lost it many times.
Yeah.
There's nothing like being like, oh, I'm a human and I have a life to live, but also I have this dream I'm chasing. Wait, you couldn't wait till I was done being heartbroken to have me not book anything for 3 years? That's okay. It's a lesson, Lord. Oh, I said no to that contract because I thought I was gonna book something, and then I got heartbroken and I was alone. And okay, so now I'm selling dog food and working construction back in Brooklyn, and I think I worked Hello Kitty Con for like a 4-day weekend, and I was like, yo, $200 a day, perfect. I was like, sir, do you want your penny crushed? Come this way. The line is here, but if you're looking for the Hello Kitty, blah, 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 that's right here. Thank you so much. I'm secretly very sad. Very sad.
Yes.
I'm kidding. I was fine. I mean, I was, but I think that what I've learned, because I've made a bunch of mistakes, is we don't want discipline, right? We don't want it. And we don't want a routine because we don't like anybody telling us what to do, even if it's ourselves. Yeah. And maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but that's how I feel. Like, I don't want to come when the bell tolls, even if it's me going, motherfucker, it's me. It's you. I don't care. You're not the boss of me. Bell. It's like, you're hungry, aren't you? Go eat, maybe. But all this rebellion for no reason, right? What do you choose to put in your mouth? Like, what do you choose to eat? And how active do you choose to stay are the two most important things. I believe we are beings of multiple sides. We are mental, we're spiritual, we're emotional, we're physical, we're all these different things. And I think that, like, when you feel unbalanced is when that which comes with unbalance comes. And regardless, the industry is not what makes you happy. You are what makes you happy. Finding a way to enjoy the journey, even if it's rocky, is a beautiful thing. There's an old story from this thing I did once about my character's grandfather becoming like the biggest restaurant in the neighborhood and all this stuff, but he used to just push like a capuria cart on the streets, and in his old age, when all was said and done, on his deathbed, what was he talking about? Was he talking about having the best restaurant in the neighborhood? No, he was talking about waking up at the crack of dawn, selling empanadillas and alcapuria from a cart on the street. And I think that, like, fall in love with the hustle a little bit, man. It's beautiful. The fact that you're broke means you're doing something, hopefully, and then there's always room to exercise. There's always room to pray. There's always room to create, and so to stay stimulated creatively. There's just when you have the tools, there's just no excuse to let yourself stay too low for too long.
So true. Yeah. I always like to think about it too. I'm like, well, I need something to pull from as an actor, so being broke, that's the thing to pull from.
It doesn't hurt, does it? Like, oh man,
I need it.
These beans for the third day.
Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah. I think that it's an attractive quality though. I have a woman I used to love, and one of the things that, well, I still love her, but one of the things that like drew me to this person originally, this girl would walk from Chinatown to Midtown to go to acting class and then walk back, not for exercise. Girl was broke. She was like, nah, I can save $350.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a hike. And she ate buckwheat pancakes for a week straight because that's what was in the cupboard. And when we dated years ago, I didn't realize that when I was like, hey, you want to go to the diner and just hang out and eat? I was feeding her for the day. That there's no shame in that. That's all beauty.
Yeah.
It's so powerful. Girl, let's go discover new places to get a cheeseburger and talk about nothing. You know? Like
that's life. That's the juice.
That's the juice, baby. That's the juice. Yeah, I like that. Amen.
Yeah. Alrighty. Let's see what. All right, I'm gonna go and start with the student questions.
Sure.
So or student and audience. So the first question, what role have you felt most similar to the character, and what role have you felt most unlike the character?
That's a good question. I've been, so like we talked about this earlier, like I tend to make bold choices when I go into a room.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had my reps get mad at me. They've been like, EJ, what are you doing? What if you box yourself into a corner, EJ? And that's just not what they wanted. And I was like, I have had this exact conversation with my manager, who I love,
Mm-hmm.
and who's like another, she's like an aunt to me. She is absolutely family, especially at this point. She
Mm-hmm.
signed me when I was 16, and my answer was just, Elise, I love you, but this is what I do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, and if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it the way that makes me really, really happy and gets me excited. I don't know anything else.
That's so
So,
beautiful.
you know what I mean? I'll sell dog food for a little while longer. I don't want to. I did not want to. But Malibu
Mm-hmm.
Dog Kitchen, thank you so much. Because I would set up tables at PetSmart and be like, hi, how much do you care about your perro? Huh? Um,
English with it.
but no, so the most like me, maybe I did a film years ago called Don't Let Me Drown. And when I first read the script, it was for the Sundance Film Labs while I was still in high school. So I was like 17,
Mm-hmm.
16, 17. And I remember like crying with the moments where he was like in love with this girl and she didn't like him, and like, you know, bugging out by being like, oh man, this would be dope. I would be immortalized at this actual time in my life.
Yeah.
And I ended up re-auditioning for that film when I was 19, and they got funding, and we went to Sundance 2009, and it was amazing. And so just being a kid from Brooklyn, being a Latino kid from Brooklyn who was like maybe too nice to be too cool in a lot of places,
Mm-hmm.
um, that was very close to just me exploring what it is to be a kid in that neighborhood at that time, you know. So that was pretty cool. Um, and then I did a character. Uh, I have family who are just I have a family of warriors, and I'm a poet. So in a lot of ways, I was like a different kind of warrior, yes, but just like a black sheep because of that. And I
Mm-hmm.
played a character who was like, he was an ode to the men in my family who are very different than me. And
Mm-hmm.
he walked in a different way, you know what I'm saying? Like he talked just a little bit different, you know what I'm saying? He's just like
Mm-hmm.
real, um, real aggressive and really ready to jump. And like I justified all that in the whys. You know, sometimes we feel justified by how much work we put in. And
Right.
that's what it was for me. I was like, oh, he's not mean. He's just tired. And when you're
Right.
tired, I don't got time to give a fuck about you, man. I don't got
Mm-hmm.
time to care about your feelings or how I should have said this shit. You know what? Fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I played another character named the Denny Padilla. Denny. Wow, you're very pretty girl. You got earrings. I like that. That's nice. That's nice. What you
Wow.
wear? You wear for your. That's not. I went to a funeral yesterday. It was weird. He's like the Puerto Rican kid who hung around all the Italian kids, and he worked in organized crime. So that's like me doing an impression of my mother's boyfriend at the time, and
Mm.
it booked the job.
Did you like actually pull from that from your mother's boyfriend?
Literally,
That's so cool.
it's how he sounds. It's true. He is the Puerto Rican guy who hung around a bunch of Italians in Brooklyn.
Wow. Love that. Love that. Okay, next audience question. What actors slash directors do you most look forward to working with?
Oh man. I mean, yo, Benicio del Toro. Oh man, that
Mm-hmm.
brother. That cat knows how to play. Him
Mm-hmm.
in The Edge, him in Usual Suspects, him even in Guardians of the Galaxy for that like smaller part. I think he's a powerhouse. I would love to play with him. John Leguizamo is one of my heroes.
Mm-hmm.
I watched them opening night on Broadway for Latin History for Morons, and it was just, I
That
was
was
like,
I saw it on Netflix, but it was amazing.
I mean, I'm that kid, right? I'm the kid who didn't know he had a history.
Right.
And one of the most powerful thing about people of color in this country, especially if you know you're not from an immigrant family and you're like from here,
Mm-hmm.
we are people whose histories were taken
Yep.
and thrown away, like a genocide of human beings and culture and language,
Mm-hmm.
and how resilient must you be that you are able to start again and still thrive, you
Talk
know,
about it.
when, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because when we remember that Spanish wasn't even our first language,
Yeah.
not my people,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And then there's also this interesting part of ourselves where we don't have to, but we can connect with both those that were conquered and those that were the conquerors, which are all in the bloodline. So we are both.
Yep.
I have the red hairs to prove it. Um, uh, but
Yeah, that's
see, I lost the question already. See, I started talking
that's
and I'm like,
okay.
I don't know where we.
You were talking about, you started with John Leguizamo because of the actors you
Oh
like.
yeah, yeah, and Anthony Hopkins, and so on the Old Man, one of my favorite parts. So this is one of the directors I wanted to work with, and I
Mm-hmm.
didn't even know, and I got to
Mm-hmm.
play with him. He directed the first two episodes of The Old Man.
Mm-hmm.
His name is John Watts. John
Nice.
Watts also directed the last three Spider-Man films,
Mm.
and the guy's a fucking genius. He's he's good.
What makes you say that?
He does the kind of things that directors would do in indie projects because they're
Okay.
brave. One
Mm.
of the biggest things that you learn about like directing TV, which is a goal of mine, is to eventually direct TV and
Mm-hmm.
film. And you realize that a lot of directors are, they're really pressed for time. It's not really their fault. They want to try other things. They want to do other things, but they're so pressed for time. They have to really get creative about how they use it. And a lot of times it's
Yeah.
just like hurry up and finish.
Yeah.
And John Watts was able to find time to create nuance and subtlety and play with silences.
Mm.
He allowed the camera to be another character in the show, and it
Mm-hmm.
just melted me. Like I'm an actor who like you give me give me some dirty to play with, man. I'm gonna make a mess and let's have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And when you have actors that come prepared, it's easier to do these things. But he walked
Mm-hmm.
up to me after one of my favorite scenes, and you could tell like the light in his eyes was just like, all right, you're sparking me too.
Oh, I
And
love that.
he walked up to me and was like, now say it like it's a ghost story. And I was like,
Oh, word?
oh no, I can do that. Yeah, man. And it ended up
That's fun.
being the take that they used in the show. And when someone takes time to give creative direction and really play,
Yeah.
when someone takes time to be like, I get it, we're looking at a blank screen, there's nothing on it, but you have to pretend like it's really cool. And he would play music on the set, like
Mm.
suspense thriller, like Mission Impossible music. Don't
Wow.
you be like, oh shit, that's my heart's beating now, and I
Yeah.
feel like I'm a part of this experience. He really he made you feel like he saw you. And I think if
Yeah.
anyone's a future director out there, the most important thing you could ever do is make your cast and crew feel seen. Let them feel like they matter,
Yeah.
right? And when you're safe and you feel comfortable, magic comes out of you that you didn't know was there. Then you're really able to
Absolutely.
collaborate. And I think a lot of directors don't really get that.
Yeah. That collaboration is so, the word I think of is juicy. It's just, it's like, I feel like as an actor who's auditioning a lot, you're
Mm,
like sometimes alone. Like it can feel lonely.
right.
But when you have that experience of the cast and a collaborative director, it's like it's invigorating.
Yeah, you're not alone. It's why, like, even to you, sis, I mean, I'm sure you have your people, but make sure to keep your tribe close by. Not just the people that you think will give you a heads up in this game. Just keep the people that make you feel safe close
Yeah.
by. I have
Mm-hmm.
auditioned in this exact room with my mother reading with me across the room. And reading with your mom is weird because they'll do
Yeah.
things like, and I'd be like, that was your line. And she'd be like, I was watching you. I got into it. That was a good one. I'm
Right.
like, well, it's ruined now. So
Yeah.
let's do it again. Like I did this thing years ago with my mom where I had to be a vampire. And I was like, what's smart is he's taking a shot of blood. I'm gonna go get that whiskey in the freezer. And
Mm.
I'm gonna take baby shots with my
Mm-hmm.
mom.
Yep.
And by take 16, I was like,
It was a great idea.
and that was what you end up sending in. It's like something ridiculous.
Oh my God. That's beautiful though. I love that. I love that so much. Um, all right, next question. What would you say are the red flags to look out for when seeking representation?
Red flags to look out for while seeking representation. First of all, if they ask you to pay anything, this is a scam. And there's a lot of those little like, come to Fort Lauderdale and your kid could be on Disney too.
Yeah.
And God bless them, man. Like, you know, maybe there's some people out there that are really trying to help, but the best thing you could do is, I mean, if you're in New York City, you can go to the Drama Works Bookshop. What's it called?
The
Drama
drama
Bookshop.
bookshop. Mm-hmm.
Um, and they have a list of like credible managers and agents in New York City. If you're
Mm-hmm.
not there, I'm positive a quick Google search will give you a nice list of the top 50
Right.
places you
Mm-hmm.
can go. If you're starting out as an actor, it's a good idea to go with a small little boutique agency.
Mm-hmm.
Email and, you know, do everything you can to get in everywhere else, but a
Mm-hmm.
small boutique agency that understands that you don't have a resume, because it's that age old thing where it's like you could book a job, but we need to see that you've booked jobs first. And it's like,
Right.
that's
The point.
the what I'm trying to you give me 5 auditions, man, and I
Right.
promise you.
Right.
And so that's a hustle within itself, but
Mm-hmm.
there's plenty of credible agencies out there. There's new ones being made often enough, and they're looking to increase their own roster of kids,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So we're not without resources, but it is hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a different story than most because I got to start paying dues before I had bills to pay, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
it's really, really
Right.
scary
Yeah.
to wait tables and
Yeah.
be like, I'm good, man, and I don't even have my foot in the door, and it's
Mm-hmm.
exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really hope for everyone, if you can, man, stay in class. While you're emailing these casting directors, stay in class. While
Mm-hmm.
you're hustling and trying to make rent, challenge yourself creatively. Because sometimes we're still waiting for something to happen. And you have to have already been ready, right? It's that formula. It's a opportunity meets preparation, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I find that so important. Like if you believe you can do it, you believe you can be a working actor,
Right.
act like you're a working actor right now. Are you ready? If you
Right.
got the job today, would you be ready?
Facts. Or it's like if Spielberg had asked you to do this, oh, you'd been memorized. But your
Right.
friend asked you to do this. And so you're like, I'm gonna figure it out. And I'm
Right.
guilty of that shit too. But
Yeah.
like treat it like it's the real deal, man.
Yeah. The way that you show up is really, really huge. I agree.
Absolutely. And you're responsible for the energy you bring into a room. You may not
Mm-hmm.
always be in rooms that make you feel like you want to be there. Fuck them. God bless them. But fuck them. You go be that weirdo in a corner with no friends and you talk to
Mm-hmm.
shadows on the wall and you kickbox to keep your energy up and your character's sweating so you stay sweating. Do not show up to set trying to make friends, trying to rub elbows and feel good about yourself. That's great, but that'll happen just by you being your beautiful self.
Right.
People will like you who they like you, and if they don't, that's okay too. Keep
Mm-hmm.
your peace and make sure you're ready for when they call action. They called
Yeah.
action 4 minutes before they called action. Remember that. So you're not starting a scene going, oh, yes, I'm ready. Here we go.
Right.
I'm ready to start now.
Mm-hmm.
No, man. No, it's like when you're in a waiting room and you're in those auditions, you know how many people are on their phones. How many people are just goofing around? How many people go, oh, my turn? Okay, cool. No, I'll text you back.
Mm-hmm.
No, they're letting me in now. And then they go in and they start cold.
Yep.
The fuck are you doing? You just wasted energy, man.
Mm-hmm.
Your character is on a hunt for his child. You better not sit once when you're in that fucking waiting room. Whatever you have to do to make that waiting room part of it, to make it real for you,
Mm-hmm.
you go play with magic.
Mm-hmm.
Too many people waste that. They're trying to keep up appearances and they mix up the professional and the person who's in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
And the artist,
Right. Stay
but
ready. I
I
love
don't
that.
know shit. What do I know? I don't know. I'm making shit up as I go.
No, 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 no. That is so valid. So valid. That moment before is really,
Hmm.
really important. I totally agree. Okay, for our last thing, um, Layla, if you're here, we're gonna have just one student come and ask you a little question. You're good on time, EJ?
You guys can take me forever long. My grandma at this point, she's like, I'm going to bed.
Okay.
My cake was supposed to be vanilla. It was chocolate. I don't eat chocolate.
No. Was your
Yeah,
cake
she's
wrong?
probably no. I ate it. It was delicious, but she's very particular.
Okay. Let me see if we can request Layla to come up.
Oh, thank you, Maddie. I'm seeing some of these things in the bottom.
Yeah, look through all that
Oh, that's
love.
very sweet of you. How do you go? I don't even know how you can go back. If people have been writing things, I'm sorry. It's hard for me to tell that they're there. But I saw Maddie say something. Thank you very much.
Um, Layla, I don't know if you're here, but I'm just gonna go ahead and ask her question for her then. Um, you've given us so many gems, so many gems. Thank you for your insight. Truly, it's been really incredible. The last question here is, what is your biggest piece of advice to young artists trying to break into the entertainment industry?
The biggest piece of advice I have. I mean, the first thing that I think we already talked about a little bit was like immerse yourself in the culture.
Yeah.
You know, everyone wants to jump right in and already be at a finished product. You know, you got to let it be beautiful that you are a work in progress. You know, like you really, really are. Like, I think I saw somebody write too, they commented on my journaling. Yes, if when I'm of the best version of myself, it's not always happening, but when I am, I'll wake up and I'll find my peace and find something that anchors me as early as possible so that I'm letting go of anxiety that can come up just by being awake in the day
Yeah.
and starting something off in a positive way. Like, and I'll journal for just a page or two with no pressure, or I'll
Mm-hmm.
listen to a sermon. I'll give myself something that feeds me, and I'll create a routine. So definitely creating a routine for yourself that helps you stay balanced is going to be super important in any
Mm-hmm.
industry, just in life in general. But for this career especially, immerse yourself in the culture. Go watch amazing plays. Go watch bad plays. Go watch the films that are recorded as some of the best of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Don't overthink everything and think you have to be perfect. Don't think that you're supposed to already know. Like, there's something powerful about looking someone calmly in the face and going, "Oh, I've never read that. Tell me."
Right. Yeah.
But we fall into this space where we have to keep up appearances and
Mm-hmm.
not seem dumb, right?
Right.
Like, the idea of being dumb is one of the things that plagues, at least in my perspective, our people. It plagues us, the fear of appearing dumb.
Yep.
You know,
So true.
one of my best friends said to me recently, because I was on a carpet for the old man, and I was answering these questions, and I realized that I kept doing a thing where I would go, "Is that a good question?" I don't know. I don't know. And I think I'm
Mm.
being sweet,
Mm-hmm.
or I would over explain my answer, and I think I'm being courteous.
Mm-hmm.
But what it's coming across as, it's coming across like you're explaining your magic,
Mm.
and magic need not be explained. You know, there's something
Yeah.
really beautiful about standing your ground. I am what I am. I am unafraid to be challenged,
Mm-hmm.
but I am where and what I am, at least for now.
Yeah.
And if you can at least show up with that, oh God, you can pull that into all your work. I don't call it
Mm-hmm.
work, I call it work.
Work.
Work. And I think one of the best things I ever did was I stayed in class, even when I was making money. I stayed in a really good scene study class. Every actor out there who's trying to do this professionally, get into a really good scene study class with a coach that you trust. and get into a really good improv comedy class. I recommend UCB or Groundlings. Groundlings is very character based.
Mm-hmm.
UCB is very you're gonna show up as you in
Mm-hmm.
this imaginary situation.
Mm-hmm.
And it helped me find out that I was funny. I never thought I was funny. I was like, people I know are funny, people I've dated are funnier than me. I'm not funny.
Mm-hmm.
It helps you find what your funny is, and your funny is gonna always lie in authenticity. I think that one of the most important pieces of advice that I can give anyone, period, is sincerity is sexy. It's really as simple as that. Like you'll meet someone and not know why you're so drawn to them, and
Mm-hmm.
even someone that you want to date, you're just like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
why am I so drawn to this person? I'm not that attracted to them.
Mm-hmm.
You're attracted to them being comfortable in their own skin.
Yep.
Learn to challenge yourself just in that small thing. Am I
Mm-hmm.
really being real? And
Yeah.
let me be willing to be wrong. Let it be okay that sometimes, you know what? I was put on a show. I was wearing a
Mm-hmm.
mask.
Mm-hmm.
But the more I can get comfortable with understanding what that feels like without overjudging it, the
Yep.
easier it becomes for me to turn it on in front of the
Right.
camera. Like I tell my students, how dare you expect yourself to be free and open on command, whether it's in front of the camera or on stage, to be free, open, and present on command. How dare you expect that of yourselves when you don't really expect it in your daily life?
Yep.
You know, like that's, yes, for some people, for some actors, it's the opportunity to be really free.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
For me, it's a reflection of how I live my life. I try to lead with love and sincerity. And then it makes the other stuff a little easier because I'm already a sensitive little punk. You know, I got all the feelings all the time. You'd be like, "You happy?" I'd be like, "I was," until you said that. Why you said it like that? Because you seem, are you angry at me? No, I'm trying to make your emotions my responsibility because of early childhood trauma. I'm
Right.
sorry. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a really good piece of advice. You can't expect yourself to be open in your art if you're not open in life.
And there's a balance. You don't got to tell everybody everything, but
Yeah.
you can tell yourself the truth.
Right.
You know, you can walk away from a situation and be like, I was me. I just didn't want this person to see that. And that was my protection.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we also get deeply overwhelmed by rejection. Um,
Yeah.
Especially in this industry, you got a bunch of pretty people, right? These pretty boys and girls ain't used to being told no. Well, suck it up. All right. No.
Yep.
But a no doesn't mean you're not enough. No means so much more than that. There's, you know, it also doesn't mean anything. God
Mm-hmm.
bless them, but fuck them
Mm-hmm.
too. Like it doesn't matter. You know, keep exploring what excites you. You'll find something.
Mm-hmm.
You'll find something really beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. You're getting a lot of love from Miss P and Ari over here.
Oh, I love those people. Much love from Miss P and me. I love Ari. Ari gave me my first headshots, man.
Really?
I was this junior in high school. He took some black and white photos of me going like this. And that's what I used for about
That was your
8
actor
years.
face.
Oh yeah. I look like I was waiting for somebody to give me some cookies. You got a cookie?
Love that. Love that. All right. Well, that is the end
That's the
of
end? Okay.
that's the end of our episode here. EJ, you've been so amazing, so authentic, so grounded, so insightful. Take it. Take the compliments.
Okay. Sorry.
Thank you seriously so much for taking the time out. Congrats on, dude, everything. Like your career is just so inspiring and impressive.
Thank
So
you. Thank you. I'm still trying to pay rent next month, but thank you. I appreciate it.
I feel you. Feel
It's
you.
true, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you again. Thank you everyone for joining. And until next time, watch EJ on The Old Man on FX and Hulu. Okay? I'm about to do that right now, actually.
Yeah, you go watch it,
I
okay?
know, right?
Jesus. All right.
All right, y'all. Have a good night.
Blessings.
Bye.